wrong ones part ways, right ones find their way. Today's article for you. Married for 20 years, you are no longer my husband. A married middle-aged woman's response that leaves one speechless. In Chinese culture, there's a term called marriage aphasia, which is explained as follows: from the time of dating, when there's no end to conversation, to married life, filled with daily necessities, conversations gradually dwindle. Reaching middle age, with elderly parents above and children below, after weathering half a lifetime of storms, we crawl through life's messes with great difficulty. Yet, even when the house leaks during a continuous rainy night, emotional problems between husband and wife follow one after another. The once inseparable couple slowly grows weary of each other. They don't want to talk, much less share their hearts. Among middle-aged people, more and more couples find they have nothing to say to each other. Marriage turns into an empty talk. There's a story of a man who had just divorced. He talked about his ex-wife. We decided to divorce after our child finished the college entrance exams. He thought his wife was just speaking in anger, but it turned out to be true. I was crying when we left the Civil Affairs Bureau, but my wife smiled and said she had waited 10 years for this day, their son's 10 years of hard studying, or her 10 years of endurance. The man believed their harmonious married life in recent years was real, not realizing his wife had given up on him long ago. He used to hate it when his wife asked him to do household chores. Later, he noticed that his wife stopped asking, and he felt happy, thinking that she had become accustomed to doing them herself. When his wife was sick and called him, he said, "Isn't there anyone in your family to take care of you? Why are you calling me?" Initially, she would argue back, but eventually, she stopped asking and handled things herself. He disliked her asking for money and often responded coldly, "Why do you need clothes and makeup every day when you're just taking care of a child?" Eventually, she went to work and never asked him for a penny again. No matter what he said, she just listened. If she didn't want to listen, she would go to another room. During those years, whatever he did, she didn't care. Once he didn't come home one night and didn't even call. He laughed at other men whose wives kept calling them, thinking they were incapable because they were tightly controlled by their wives. For 10 years, she earned her own money, took care of the child, managed all the household chores, and even dealt with his parents without asking for his help. He once felt proud, thinking she had finally become gentle and virtuous, not realizing it was because she had completely given up on him, didn't need him anymore, and did everything herself. She said, "After 20 years of marriage, you are no longer my husband, just my son's father." She endured and prepared for 10 years, waiting until their child finished the college entrance exams before deciding on the divorce. The most heartbreaking aspect between spouses is not only having nothing to say but also being too tired to argue. Life becomes like that of two cohabitating roommates, each living their own life. Their only communication is saying goodnight to each other on social media. Such a marriage has nothing to do with love. The only reason they stay together is because of the child, the elderly parents, and financial constraints. Even when marriage is unhappy, they still bind together, tolerating and muddling through, wanting to divorce but unable to, wanting to live well but failing to. The worst thing in the world is not growing old alone, but growing old with someone who makes you feel lonely. Having nothing to say, sleeping together every night but no longer talking about the past, the present, or the future. Having something to talk about is the primary condition for being together, and continuing to have things to talk about is the necessary condition for staying together. To keep a marriage lively, having conversations is crucial. The key to getting along as a couple is understanding each other's words and jokes, no matter what they are. In youth, talk about life experiences and daily trivia. In middle age, discuss work, feelings, and children. In old age, reminisce about younger days and talk about the children's lives. Marriage inevitably becomes ordinary and full of countless arguments, but this requires more communication to face and solve various problems and conflicts together. Loving someone is hard, maintaining that love is even harder. Communication fosters affection. More exchanges help discover and solve problems early, maintaining the relationship. As one saying goes, find someone you love talking to and marry them. When you grow old, you'll find that enjoying conversations is the greatest trait. Marry someone you can talk to for a long time. Life is long, and if you can't talk to the person next to you, it's dull and tedious. Marriage shouldn't become tasteless and uncommunicative as time passes. It should become richer with age, still filled with conversations and emotions, keeping it lively and vibrant. Middle-aged couples should communicate more. More talking and sharing relieve inner distress, reduce conflicts, make life easier, and stabilize the relationship. As the saying goes, only after being drunk do you know the strength of the wine. Only after loving do you know the depth of affection. Only after pain do you understand regret. And only after losing do you understand cherishing. In the latter half of life, parents age, children leave, and only your partner stays with you till the end. Cherish the one beside you. Don't let the one who has accompanied you for 20, 30, 40 years leave with a broken heart. There's no eternal marriage, only couples growing together. A happy marriage has no shortcuts, only effort. Middle-aged marriage is not easy. Cherish and strive for it to avoid losing to a loveless, wordless state. Talk well with the one who loves you. After all, when you're old and can't walk, having someone who has walked through countless storms with you, laughing and chatting on rocking chairs, is the happiest thing in life. May we spend the rest of our lives with someone we can talk to, sharing trivialities. That's the article for you today. Thank you for listening. Please leave a comment and tell me your thoughts.